Hello, I am Miss Bates, and I am going to go over the 16-point race format rubric with you and how you are supposed to organize your essays for the quizzes and tests. All right, so to start with, you have to have the 16-point rubric. If you notice, there are 4 parts that we've color-coded. We have yellow, green, blue, and orange. So for the yellow part, you're first going to make sure that you have each component, but you want to also look at the prompt. So what is it that the prompt is stating? So if you look over here, you'll see that the prompt is asking you, what is the best cake on the planet Earth? Great question. However, notice there's a second part. So be sure to discuss the frosting, ingredients, and flavor. So there are 3 parts that we have to make sure to discuss when we respond in essay format. This means that we will have at least 3 body paragraphs. It is very important that when you are writing your essays that you have the body paragraphs that coordinate with the prompt, what the prompt is asking you to do. So our first body paragraph, because it's listed first in the prompt, we're going to talk about frosting first. The second topic in the prompt is ingredients. So that will be our second body paragraph. The third topic in the prompt is flavor. So that will be our third body paragraph. You want to make sure that you're keeping that organized. A very important part to making sure that you're answering everything you need to answer. This will make your job easier, I promise. I promise. All right, so the first part is we do need to restate the question, which we've done in yellow. Carrot cake is the best cake on the planet. By the way, I'm not going to read all of these out to you. You can read them at your leisure because this will be this is on the website, so you'll be able to access that for future reference. The next thing is it's telling us to answer the question in 4 to 7 complete sentences. So here we have 5 sentences in which we continue to answer the question. The C is citing evidence that supports your answer, and you need a minimum of 2 sources. Now, mind you, that's a minimum. What that means is that it's perfectly fine to have more sources if it works for your essay, but you have to have at least 2. So you'll see here in the blue, we have 2 sources of evidence. We first have a study that was conducted by California Connections Academy students. Not really, it's made up. And then the second piece of evidence is an article that was written by Savannah Michelle in the Science of Eating medical journal, not a real journal. I made it up. All right. Then the next thing that we have is the explanation of how that evidence supports the answer to the question. So you have to explain evidence. Why do we have to do this? You just said it. You already explained it, right? No, you didn't. So if you understand something, to understand why you need to explain the evidence is sometimes when somebody says something and it's said to multiple people, each person is going to get something different out of what was said. So it's very important to tell your reader what they were supposed to learn from that evidence that supports your answer. Okay. So you always have to explain that, and it always needs to come back to your topic sentence. It's very important that everything coordinates together. And this is within each paragraph. All right, so now we've made sure that we've met each part of the race format. So we have our yellow, at least 1 sentence. We have the green, at least between 4 and 7. And then we have citing evidence, at least 2. And then we have the explanation where we have in between 4 to 7 sentences. But now our job is not done because we need to put it into paragraphs. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that so you can see this a little better. So over here, you'll notice the yellow that we have opened and closed our entire essay with the restating of the prompt. This is a very important way and a very easy way to make sure that you have an essay formatted correctly. It's kind of, think of it as a sandwich. You have your top layer, which is your bun, and then you have the bottom layer, which is the bun. You need those buns in order to have the entire sandwich ready. Okay, so if we, using the hamburger as an example. So now what we're going to do, and I want you to see too, that all of these colors are scattered. It's not looking like this. Because the reason for this is because you have to organize your paragraphs. First of all, you have to put it into paragraphs. Remember, you need at least 3 body paragraphs because of what the prompt says. So we made sure that we hit on all the parts. Now we need to just organize everything. So if you look, we've got the opening statement, our top bun, and then we are we answered the question, we restated the question. Now the green part is answering the question, but I want you to look in each paragraph, in the first 4 paragraphs, we have an answer. We've taken that and we've put that into the first 4 paragraphs. The 4th paragraph, you'll notice that there's actually 2 in there, and that's perfectly fine, because writing is something that, yes, we can have some formulas for it, but there's always going to be variances and variables that are going to change how things look a little bit. So that's why it's important to make sure you have your textual evidence and to make sure that you're answering how, or explaining how that evidence supports your answer. So we have our evidence. Now, again, we pulled, you'll see there's 4 different spots where we pulled from the 2 sources, and that's totally fine too. You can use 4 parts from the 2 sources. You can have 4 sources where you pull 4 parts. You can have 2 sources and you pull 2 parts. The important thing is that you at least have 2 sources and two examples from those sources that you're supporting your answers. Now we have the orange, which is where we are explaining how that textual evidence supports our statement. So in this very first introductory paragraph, we have carrot cake is the best cake on the planet. Our evidence is that 52% of the population from that study that was done by California Connections Academy students. And then we explain it. Hey, because it's 52% of the population, this means it is a clear winner in the competition of best cakes, because the majority of that population likes carrot cake. They prefer carrot cake. So you're explaining how that evidence supports your main statement. So very, very important to be doing this. Now, again, if you look at these, at the way the paragraphs are formatted, we have our introductory paragraph. We have the first paragraph in which we are speaking only about frosting. We then have the second body paragraph in which we are discussing only the ingredients. And then we have the third body paragraph in which we are speaking only of the frosting. It's very important to keep everything organized in this manner and separated. This makes it easier for your reader to understand what it is you're talking about. Then we have down here, we have our closing body paragraph, the conclusion. But I want you to notice that there's no evidence in a conclusion, okay? You don't enter new evidence into conclusions ever. And then also you're going to notice that this is actually 1 sentence, but the 1 sentence meets 2 parts. So not only are we explaining how the evidence supports, but we've got the bottom bun to our burger, in which we are closing out by restating the question again down in the bottom. And it's totally fine to do that in a single sentence. Again, it doesn't have to be, because writing is variable. And as long as you're meeting the components, in this particular case, what we are really looking for is that you are creating an opinion. You are using evidence to support that opinion, and then you're explaining how that evidence supports your opinion. This right here is what we are working on with you, and it's very important that you are meeting that. This will make your job a lot easier when you go to the second semester for the first portfolio. It'll make your job easier when you jump into 12th grade. It'll make your job easier when you go into college. But it'll make your job easier, just life in general. If you're working sometime and you think you deserve a raise, great. That's a great opinion to have. But you need the evidence to support why you deserve a raise at work. And you can't just go to your boss and say, I need a raise, and then expect to get a raise. You have to have evidence to back that up. So this is a very, very important life skill that will take you throughout your entire life. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful to you. If you have any more questions, please reach out to your teacher. Bye.